Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to Love and Law. My name is Virginia Warren. I'm a lawyer and conflict alchemist and co-founder of the organisation called Lawyers for Love. At Lawyers for Love, we see that the legal system in its present form uses fear-based techniques to solve problems. Lawyers for Love, however, say that to solve a problem, you need a higher level of consciousness than that which was used to create the conflict. That consciousness is based in love. We call this lovers of the essence consciousness, or Leotech for short. In these live broadcasts, we're showcasing amazing lawyers globally who are bringing their unique style of love into legal practice. And today, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the very forward-thinking Judge Carlos Moore. Judge Moore's impressive list of achievements is listed in the description below, so please do take the time to have a look and see what he's done over this time. It's amazing. But most recently, in July of 2020, Judge Moore was elected as President-elect of the National Bar Association, and he'll be sworn in as President in this coming July. And in September of 2020, African Leadership magazine named him one of the top 100 most influential African-American leaders in the United States. So that is absolutely amazing. Now, I first discovered Judge Moore's work on LinkedIn. And I was so excited to read of the success stories coming from his courtroom in Mississippi via his alternative sentencing program. And I want to talk a little bit more about that later because this is amazing stuff. But before we talk about his refreshing and unique approach, I'd like to say a warm welcome to Judge Moore and thank him for taking the time to speak with us at Lawyers for Love. And ask him, like I ask everybody else, what motivated you to become a lawyer?
Thanks, Virginia, for having me. As a child, I grew up watching Perry Mason and Matlock and all the TV shows dealing with lawyers, and I was naturally drawn to it. I've always loved to argue and debate and espouse my views, and so I thought that the law would be a natural fit for me. And it's just something that just drew my attention, and I stuck with it.
So you're motivated by the desire to help people, which most lawyers come into the profession trying to do. That seems to be the general motivation. Some people come in for the success and the prestige of it all, but there are a great deal of lawyers that come into the system hoping to make a change, hoping to help humanity. What did you find as you went along, as you sort of progressed through law school and became the lawyer and worked through in the reality of the legal system? How did you find it?
You know, Virginia, there are so many things wrong with the justice system. I've been a student of history and just seeing how things were going, I said, well, what better way to fix it than to get on the inside? I could be an outside advocate, but if I got on the inside as a lawyer and a judge, I could try to right some of the wrongs. And so hope springs eternal. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice, as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said. And for something to bend, you have to apply pressure. And so that's what I've tried to do throughout my nearly 20 years as a lawyer and my nearly 4 years as a judge, is to try to apply pressure and bend the arc of justice where it needs to go.
Have you found much pushback from doing that?
Excuse me?
Much pushback from others within the system. When you try and change a system like this, it's been entrenched for a long time. How have you found that as you've progressed, and have you found any negative feedback? For example, let's just first of all talk about how you brought this alternative sentencing program into your courtroom. How did you start out, and why did you decide to do this alternative sentencing program? That's what I'm really curious about.
I'll gladly tell you, Virginia, my first day on the bench, I was intentional on making a difference, being the first African American on the bench in both Clarksdale as well as Grenada, Mississippi. I knew that there was a time, it was past for change, and I knew that those that appeared before me would be primarily African American. And so, having lived all of my life in African American skin, I bring something different to the bench. I can bring empathy as well as sympathy. And so while I try to be fair to everyone, I really wanted to make sure that we gave everyone a fair shake, especially those first-time offenders and youthful offenders and nonviolent offenders. And I believe that there is a place for mercy. Justice has to be tempered with mercy. And so I do believe in a second chance. And to get people entrenched in the criminal justice system at an early age, I believe is not what we need to do, because sometimes they turn out worse than they were going in. And so if I can keep someone out of jail, out of prison, and without a record, I would love to do that. And so, as I say, nonviolent offenders, youthful offenders, first-time offenders, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to give them a second chance, but I'm also going to hold them accountable. And so that's why I call the program Do Better ASAP. It's the Do Better Alternative Sentencing Accountability Program. So I create a sentence tailored to them where it encourages them and inspires them to do better. And it also keeps them with a clean record if they successfully meet my mandates. And it also helps society. They become successful tax-paying citizens and just contributing citizens to society. And so it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, this is really, really a beautiful system. And I think what I hear of when you're saying this is that you're really connecting with the humanity of each of these individuals. I'm certain most people, and the way I see it is, people don't go out to do bad things. That's not our intention in life. We don't walk out the door thinking, I'd just like to go to jail today. Or maybe we do, some of us, because that's relief. And I think we make decisions based on the idea that we'll feel better when we make a decision. So some people make decisions not thinking of the long-term outcomes, and here you are helping them think, well, perhaps that decision wasn't the best one in the long term, and maybe that's helping these people have another look at what they're doing. Because tell me a little bit about how you approach the sentencing and what you do. Actually, if you can give me some examples, that would be amazing.
Definitely. So the people that appear before me, before they get into the program, the alternative sentencing program, they have to plead guilty. They have to accept responsibility for what they've done. And so that is the first step to get in the program. They take responsibility, they plead guilty, and they leave it up to me at that point to either withhold adjudication, to sentence them, or whatever I'm going to do. So once they plead guilty, I decide if I'm going to allow them to be in my program. And I will ask them about their situation in life, their station in life. If they're a young person, are you in high school? Have you finished high school? Did you get a GED? Did you get a regular diploma? Have you gone to college? Have you gone to trade school? Have you decided what you want to do with the rest of your life? And so once I determine their station in life, and then I tailor, and their aspirations in life, then I tailor a sentence to help them achieve that goal of theirs. 9 times out of 10, they have not taken any steps towards their goals in life. They have a goal and something they tell me they want to do, but they have not taken steps towards that goal. If they have no aspirations and have not finished high school, I will require them to get a GED. If they are still in high school and they have okay grades and mediocre grades, average grades, I would try to encourage them to get a letter grade higher. So if you're a C student, you have to come back before me and show me at least one B. If you're a B student, show me an A. I believe everyone can do better than what they're doing with enough inspiration and push. If they didn't finish high school, get a GED. If you have not enrolled in college or trade school, community college, enroll in community college, enroll in trade school, and come back and show me that you have gone and got admitted to cosmetology school, trucking school, whatever it may be, and I will give you a break. But you have to put one foot forward, and I'll take the second step with you.
It is like that, isn't it? Many people are looking for someone to hear them, to really hear who they are as a human. I believe that everyone at some level wants to be heard and held. I mean, it's metaphorically to be held by somebody, to be the space to be held. And yes, you're a person there before me, and I see who you are. You are me and I am you. And in the African American community, I can't comment about that because I'm not African American, but what I know, or what I truly believe as humanity, we are one, and that everything affects everything else. And I absolutely love what you're doing there, because what you're doing, particularly for young people that haven't had anybody to look up to or to create the space for them to improve themselves and say, look, I'm seeing you, I see you here. Please, I want to applaud you and champion you on to do better. I absolutely love this. So many of your story, do people come back and tell you what they've done, or what's the success rate that you're having?
We have a great success rate. I just had one young man that appeared before me last week when I was on the bench on Tuesday, and he successfully got his driver's license. He's 21 years of age and has never had a driver's license, and he kept repeatedly getting ticketed for no driver's license. That's money out of his pocket, hundreds of dollars out of his pocket if he's found guilty or potential jail time. And so I told him instead of fining him or sentencing him to jail, just to go simply pass the test finally. Take the test, pass it, and come back and show me your driver's license, and you will have a clean record in front of me. And so he brought it back. He brought me proof of the license. He successfully passed the test because you could get your license at 16 in Mississippi. So 5 years later, he finally has a license because somebody pushed him and encouraged him to do it and incentivized him to do it. And so he left out of there so proud. I could see the pride in his eyes and the pep in his step because he had accomplished something that heretofore he had not accomplished because no one motivated him or challenged him to do it. And so that made me feel so good to know that somebody has gotten out the system. They can now drive successfully, they can get a job, drive themselves to work, and be a contributing member of society. And so that means much more to me than getting that little $300 to $400 the city was going to get from that fine.
Yeah, yeah, that's absolutely amazing. So, do you see many of these young people coming back and reoffending? What do you see?
Most of the time, I do not see reoffending. Some of them do not successfully complete the program, but the majority of them, I would say I have like a 75 to 80% completion rate. If I challenge them to pull their grades up a letter grade, sometimes they'll do that or they'll bring it up 2 grades. I had one student who was a D student. He brought his letter grade up to a B. So not only did he go up, he did more than I asked him. He could have got a C because he was a D student, but he brought it up to a B and got a and I was so proud of him because I knew that he could do it. Had he been challenged, I had someone looking over his shoulder, and so people will do what you challenge them to do. And so we've had that success. We had one student who was 18 who voted in her first election. She brought me back proof that she voted, and she wrote an essay about the importance of voting. And so we were just encouraging students and young people one case at a time. I have some that I'm waiting to come back this semester to show me that they have gone to the fire academy. I had one young man, 27 years of age, said he wanted to be a fireman. So I told him to go to the fire academy. I want him to be in the top 5 of the class. And so I'm waiting later on this semester. I find out if he's met my goals. And I have several others that I've asked to graduate high school, and I'll see by the end of the semester if they've done that. I told one guy, he was saying it was looking pretty shaky if he was going to even graduate from high school. I told him, I don't care if you're the last one in the class, but I want you to get your a regular high school diploma and come back and show me that you got a high school diploma and you have a good record in my courtroom.
Oh, that's amazing. And it is really giving these people back responsibility, because I think my view is that young people that are in these positions have not been able to trust in their ability to respond to life. That, in other words, they haven't been given responsibility. Someone else has told them, you can't make the right choice. And so they don't trust in themselves anymore. So with someone like you sitting up there in this beautiful position of guidance and giving them back their power, it's just absolutely amazing, and reconnecting them to themselves and saying, yeah, I'm okay. I can make these decisions for myself, and look at what I can do when I make the decisions for myself. It's just so amazing. Yes, I love this. And you've also co-authored a book. You have co-authored a book as well.
I think I heard you asking about the book, The Five Brothers.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yes,
co-author in
the
that
Five
book.
Brothers.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Tell me a
And
little bit
so
about that as well.
we wrote the book. It was released in November of last year. So it took us about a year to get the book prepared, but it's me, 3 lawyers, and a physician. So I have a judge, 3 lawyers, and a physician. And it came about on accident. We were all together in Las Vegas in October of 2019, and we took a picture after dinner there in Vegas celebrating with one of my law partners. And the picture went viral after I posted it. My caption was, "Who says that young Black boys cannot grow up to be lawyers, judges, and doctors?" And so it went viral, and people said we should write a book. And so I think it got tens of thousands of reactions and so many likes. I mean, hundreds of thousands, really. And so we did it. We found a ghostwriter, a publisher, a publicist, or whatever, and we took our times and told our stories. And so all of us are first generation lawyers, judges, or physicians, and we beat the odds. and have become the successes that we are. And we want to share our stories, and so we've done it. And the book can be purchased on Amazon and bookstores across America and online and international.
And these are the stories of you all individually growing up and getting into the positions that you're in today, and showing everyone
Correct.
that these things are doable. Um, but it is, I think, instead of giving people words and saying go and do this, it is being the example, isn't it? It is being an example of what you can do. My life has been one of those. I didn't go to the best schools, and I didn't, I had less of an advantage than many others personally, but I did it myself. And here I am today. I'm speaking to an amazing judge on the other side of the world, and I'm an Australian woman, and it's just, amazing what we can do when we just say, follow our hearts and say, I can do this too, and then watch others that are doing it. There's nothing that can hold you back. And these are amazing times that we're in, when we can all get on these spaces and talk to each other and say, it's all okay, everyone. You can do this too. You can. And
You
I
can.
think, yeah, I think that's exactly what you're doing. And are you in other areas of the community working in these sorts of ideas and showing these young people that they can achieve whatever they want to?
Yes, I'm part of the 100 Black Men of America. We have a chapter where I live in Grenada, and our motto is what they see is what they'll be. And so we have always tried to be a positive example, be a guiding light. And when we started the chapter in 2009, we've had so many success stories. Here we are 11 years later, and one of the young men I started mentoring in 2010, he is now a lawyer. He grew up in a program in high school, went through college, went to law school, and he's been practicing law for about the past 2 or 3 years. And he was one of my mentees. Another one successfully finished college. He followed me into my fraternity. And so we're changing lives one person at a time. So I'm just so grateful to be there for these young men and even the young women, to show them a way. A lot of them are just like me, first generation college students and law students. And if I did it, they can do it too. And they are doing it. And I'm so very proud.
Yeah, because I think law, to me, has looked like it has a big stick. It's all about punishment, and the negative energies that are in the legal system for the lawyer, not only for the clients that come through your courtroom, but for the lawyers also. The lawyers often don't experience a great career when they're approaching their work using my view is that the idea of punishment and it's you versus me is counterproductive to who we are as a humanity. We are one, we are connected. And when I read Gandhi at one point, who said this quote, the true function of a lawyer is to unite parties riven asunder. And when I heard that, I thought, wow, how can we as lawyers and in courtrooms, because judges have a slightly different role to play as well, how can we bring people together? Because the doing of things that are unacceptable to society standards, I think, are where are an opportunity for us to see how we've disconnected from ourselves and how we can take that opportunity to find out who we are. Why did we make that choice? Rather than you are bad, go to jail. Because when I see that happening, I'm saying, if I say you are bad, and I don't think anything is bad or good, it just is. But if I'm saying you are bad and I put you in jail, it effectively means I'm not accepting a part of myself. Because the way I see humanity is you are me and I am you. And if I'm pushing part of me away, I'm not accepting myself also. And I look at back in the sort of shamanism traditions and indigenous peoples who look at someone in their society, and I've spoken to judges about this before, look at someone in their society and say, okay, you're doing something that's not really gelling with society. You're not getting along with everybody else. What have we done that makes you act in this way? It's everyone taking responsibility. And I see yourself sitting up on the bench talking about these beautiful things, saying, also, you are taking a part in this. You are taking responsibility too for these people and saying, I can help bring them through. And that to me is absolutely amazing. That's amazing work. And I so applaud it. And I love to hear these stories. So I love to watch you on social media and what you're doing. And I do encourage everybody to follow you, because it's just, and particularly other lawyers in the system and other judges, if they would. Are any other judges doing this kind of work as well?
There are some that have reached out to me and asked questions about how I'm doing it and why I'm doing it. If I've received any pushback from the cities or counties where I am. For the most part, people are appreciative of what I'm doing. With anything, there will be some pushback from the naysayers, but I don't let that distract me, because I know I'm doing the right thing. I know that I'm being led of God to do this, and I do believe there is a place in society for a second chance. I believe cages are for animals, jails are for animals. And if somebody has been nonviolent and it's a first time offense, why not give them a second chance and treat them as a human being and not an animal? Our most violent people need to be in jails and prisons, but our nonviolent offenders, we can temper justice with mercy at the appropriate time. And so judges are there and to use their discretion and their good common sense, having been trained in the law, and look at a situation and see and determine for ourselves who deserves mercy and who deserves justice. And so I try to listen to each case intently, and then I do what I think is right at that very moment.
That's absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much again. And what would you have as perhaps tips for you have lawyers appearing before you and other judges. What tips would you have? Because I think this would help people in the legal system, lawyers, and anyone who works in the legal system, to have that perspective, because it makes your job feel better. Like when you're serving another, it fills you up. I believe I get that feeling of fulfillment when I've really helped somebody out and help someone take their own power back. I'm not their parent. You're not their parent, but you are helping them take their power back. What sort of tips would you give for others to bring these ideas into their own work for other lawyers?
Yeah, for other lawyers and judges, I would say take your job, not necessarily just as a job, but as a calling, and try to touch somebody's life as you pass them, because who knows if you'll ever pass that way again. And so I take every opportunity that I come into contact with someone to speak life into them, to help make them better than they were before they crossed paths with me. And I do believe, as president-elect of the National Bar Association, I will have a large pulpit come July when I'm sworn in as president. I'm going to encourage judges across the country and around the world to implement alternative sentencing programs in their respective courtrooms. I'm going to encourage lawyers to look for ways to help their clients holistically, not just do a job, but if you can help them holistically to better themselves personally, do that and think outside the box. Prosecutors especially have a chance to help first-time offenders or nonviolent offenders and recommend alternative sentencing to the judge. If your judge that you're prosecuting before has not heard of alternative sentencing, it's up to the prosecutor and the defense attorney to bring it to their attention and see that something can be done and think outside the box. And so we all have a part to play. I think everyone should run their leg of the race and be that cog in the wheel and make it turn successfully.
That's amazing. And yeah, I would really like to, when you're back in this position, you have this voice. I would really like it to know that you're sort of available to, you probably have a broadcast or something that you can talk to other lawyers and judges and people. I imagine that would be amazing, that people can tune in to hear you saying these things, because
Yes.
that's all people just need to know, particularly in the legal system. I think when we know it's safe to do so, a lot of lawyers out there want to make a difference, and they came into the system wanting to make a difference, but the system sort of dragged them in. Oh, I have to do it like this and I have to do it like that, and if I'm before this judge I have to be this way. But if they are encouraged that it's actually safe to come out and want to help people and know that there are others doing it, I think that is probably really the answer. And if you're there saying, and on a broadcast or something like this, that people could listen to this and say, there's a judge doing this, it's amazing. Absolutely love it. We love it. Well, thank you so much today, Judge Moore. I really, really, really appreciate your time. It's it's 8 p.m. I think, isn't it, in Mississippi? We got our little times a bit wrong because I think we had daylight time over there, and we booked these things ahead. And this is the challenges for working globally. But I think we are opening globally, and that's another thing I just wanted to say, because whilst it's jurisdictional, that's Mississippi you're in, and I'm in Queensland, Australia, and it's all jurisdictional in one way, but kindness, compassion is non-jurisdictional, and we can all
Universal.
share that. Yeah, it's universal, and we can share that globally, and we can have that heart connection right across the globe. And here we are doing it, and if we all talk about it, it's going to be a reality. So I think it's amazing, and I so appreciate your time today on your Sunday evening. So thank you so much for coming on the show. I truly appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Virginia. Thanks for having me. Thanks for using this platform. And I look forward to keeping in touch with you online and via social media. And hopefully we'll do this again soon.
We shall, no doubt. Take good care. Bye now.
Take care.